Good morning. Today is the 9th of Adar Aleph, February 18th. Beautiful Sunday morning. Agut Tavach, Shavua Tov, everyone. Today's shir is generously dedicated by Adam and Sandy Schneider, commemorating the yahrzeit of Sandy's brother, Ruvain Chanan ben Moshe. Did I get it right? Ruvain Chanan ben Moshe, his neshama should have an aliyah. We'll just give you a quick recap of yesterday. Yesterday's Tanya was actually a little bit lengthy and quite beautiful, very impactful, of course, as Tanya seems to be every day, but more particularly the last few weeks as we talk about being besimcha, apropos to Chodesh Adar that we're in, and also overcoming all of the different attacks of the Yetzer Hara to try to get us down and to try to rise above that, not just to win the war, but to do it in a very upbeat and positive way. Of course, we're talking about the battle with our Yetzer Hara. Yesterday was Shabbos, of course, and we talked about having distracting thoughts during davening and removing our attention from the disturbing thoughts and immediately be happy that our davening is constructive, causing the evil inclinations resistance. You know, in the world today and in general, if you're doing something right, as a leader, someone's going to attack you. Someone's going to have something to say about it, right? So if you're davening and you're really doing your job well, chances are the Yetzer Hara is going to look for ways to stop you. So if that happens, give a little chuckle, knowing that you're doing something right, and therefore he's trying to do everything he can to stop you. And by the way, that's his job. So we have our job to do, and the Yetzer Hara has his job to do. Now, moving on. And by the way, every day this week, except for Shabbos, is rather short. So it packs a punch. So Adam, you don't have to go anywhere because it's very, very short today. So sit down. And Shabbos is actually quite lengthy. So make sure to come early Shabbos morning. In this chapter, the Alter Rebbe guides one in overcoming the blockage of the heart, Timtum Halev, an internal barrier to being moved spiritually. If something is blocking you, what's wrong? Why can't you daven? Why can't you learn? Why can't you serve Hashem with joy? What's blocking? What's bothering you? In today's lesson, it's possible that a person will not be aroused properly to serve Hashem, and the way to deal with this is through humbling and crushing, it says, quote unquote, crushing the klipa. So we have to crush the other side, the klipa and the sitra achara, in order to be properly aroused to serve Hashem. Today we begin chapter 29. We're going to continue chapter 29 tomorrow and the next day as well. But yesterday we learned the entire chapter 28. It was unbelievable. It was a marathon. In chapter 26, the Alter Rebbe states that both depression, and dullness of the heart produce a state of sluggishness. If you're tired and you're lazy, you're not going to get up to do a mitzvah. What does it say? You have to be energetic and you have to run to do a mitzvah. And then in between chapter 26 and 28, the Alter Rebbe gives us methods of overcoming sadness. And in this chapter, the Alter Rebbe is going to discuss means of dealing with the dullness of heart that leads to sadness. So the Alter Rebbe wants to give us the Beinoni, the average person who seeks to fight this difficult struggle and be happy despite feelings of dullness and laziness, and that leads to sadness and, melancholy. So he wants to give us a little bit of a boost here. An eitzah is like some good advice. Occasionally and even frequently, we experience a dullness of the heart, as though it had turned to stone. We're just not interested. Come on, you don't want to learn something? Nah, I gotta go. Where are you going? Whatever. I'm not interested in learning today. It happens, Hey, I got no choice. I gotta do the share. But sometimes I'm not in the mood. So I thank Hashem for giving me the share, right? To be able to do. But other people, why don't we have more people today? Some days we have 25 people. Today's like, it's a nice sunny day. It's a Sunday morning. Last night we were up late at a concert or a hockey game or whatever. I'll go to Minyan tomorrow. What happened? We have to serve Hashem every single day. So that's the Yetzer Hara trying to just, you could sleep in. It's a Sunday morning. There's no work today. It's a big mistake because we have to work for 6 days, and on the 7th day we rest. We work 6 days. That means Sunday we're also working. It's a time where we can do we can catch up on our garden, and we can fix up things in the house and do things if we're not going to our work, whatever it's called, whatever it is, our occupation. There's plenty of things we can do. Extra time to study, extra time to daven a little bit longer. Try as he might, a person cannot open up his heart to daven properly. It's just not coming to him. I mean, today we had a wonderful davening. Steve was leading the davening. It was slower. It was more focused. I felt good energy. But sometimes if we're rushing through the davening, you just don't feel, sometimes you can't get in the zone. You know what I mean? So Chassidus explains that davening is the service of the heart in twofold. A, it takes place in the heart. For in prayer, one strives to extend his intellectual appreciation of Hashem into the realm of emotions, which is experienced in the heart, which the heart also expresses the love and fear of Hashem. And B, the object of prayer is the heart. For in davening, one tries to transform the nature of his heart, to steer it away from the mundane desires to which it naturally inclines, and to direct it instead towards a yearning for the spiritual and for the godly. To accomplish both of these objectives of davening, the heart must be, of course, open and receptive, and thus timtum halev, the dullness of the heart, is a major problem. It's a major blockage. It's a hindrance to your davening with emotion and love and awe of Hashem. Also, the heaviness of his heart prevents him at times from waging war against the evil impulse and sanctifying himself in permitted matters. Forget about pushing away the evil, but what about doing something positive? If you just, I can't, I had such a beautiful Shabbos, and then last night something happened in the house. I got angry. I started yelling. I went to sleep upset, and I woke up today. I wasn't interested. I feel so bad about what I was thinking and what I did and what I said. And I went to a concert that wasn't, I had such a spiritual Shabbos, and I saw this narshkeit. I shouldn't have gone, right? So in this case, the advice given in the Holy Zohar is the Omar Rav Misifta Began Eden, as the president of the Academy of Gan Eden said, a wooden beam which does not catch fire should be splintered, mevakshinle. And similarly, a body, gufa deloy salik beidahira nidishbasa mevakshinle, a body into which the light of the soul does not penetrate should be crushed. You take a big log and you try to light it on fire, doesn't go. You guys ever do a little bonfire in the backyard? We have a little metal fire pit. The kids like to light a fire, roast marshmallows. They like to play with fire, so you set it up in a safe way. But if you have a big, thick log, it doesn't light. What do you got to do? You got to take an axe or a saw, and you got to break it up into little pieces, and then it can catch fire. So too, the person. We have to crush that sitra achara. We have to break it apart. How do we do that? Perush. Nahoira de nishmasa sha oira neshama v'seichel einay mer kol kach limshel al chumrius baguf. The reference to the light of the soul, which is not able to ignite, and it doesn't penetrate the body, means that the light of the neshama, the intellect, does not illuminate to such an extent as to prevail over the coarseness of the body. Thus, although he understands and he meditates on the greatness of Hashem, yet einay nispas v'nidbak b'moichei kol kach sheyuchal limshel al chmuriyos halev machmas chumriyosan v'gasusan. Even though he understands and he meditates in his mind on the grace of Hashem, yet that which he understands is not apprehended and implanted in his mind to the point where it enables him to prevail over the coarseness of the heart. In theory, I get what I have to do. I know what I should be doing, but it's hard to translate that into action. into emotion because of the degree of the mind and the heart's coarseness and crassness. So because I feel so dull and so maybe miserable and just stuck, I feel stuck. I can't get myself to be excited about the davening. So we're stuck. What do we do? If you want the answer, you have to come back tomorrow, because this is where today's Tanya ends. But at least we're left with a good question, and tomorrow we're going to try to discover the answer. But let's at least have a takeaway for today. The toolbox for success and divine service is that there are times when you know what is right, but you don't have the courage to do the right thing. You just don't feel you can pull it off. You're low on spiritual energy. This is our Yetzer Hara and our Nefesh HaBahamis, and in a sense, your materialistic drive having too much authority. We have to find a way to break that self-centered arrogance. It's not about what you feel and what you care about. It's about what Hashem wants. Let's figure out ways to get over the hump, to push aside the sluggishness, the laziness, and to be enthusiastic. That's the way we're going to overcome. And especially in Chodesh Adar, where we have to find ways to increase in joy and not the opposite. So, I mentioned this last week. My son came to me at one point when he was going through just a quick rough patch, and he says to me, I know it's Chodesh Adar and the Yetzer Hara is trying to really bring me down, and I'm supposed to be happy, so I'm not going to let him win. And that's what we have to do in this month. Let's explore further tomorrow what the Alter Rebbe is going to bring to the table. Thank you, Adam and Sandy, and once again, the Neshama of Ruvain, Hanan, Ben Moshe should have an Aliyah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good Tevach and a wonderful day.